Welcome to What's Happening. I'm your host today, Paula Hersey, and we're going to talk about a really cool event happening on September 12th at the Chatham Orpheum Theater. Today with me is Betsey Bray, who is a volunteer for the Cape Cod Modern House Trust. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Paula. Thanks for having me.
So the Cape Cod Modern House Trust, let's talk a little bit about the organization first to give some context to our viewers, and then we'll talk a little bit about the event. What is that trust?
The Cape Cod Modern House Trust, it was founded to collect and archive and share documentation of Outer Cape's exceptional modern architecture, restore a group of important endangered modern houses, and relaunch them as platforms for new creative work. That's their definition.
Right.
But basically, what happened was that many of these houses were built by famous artists and designers back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, 60s. And when the Cape Cod National Seashore came in 1959, some of the houses were either sold to the National Seashore or given lifelong leases to their owners.
Okay.
And after that happened, the Cape Cod National Seashore was unable to keep these houses maintained. And so the Cape Cod Modern House Trust, under Peter McMahon, who was the founding director, went in and raised money to have these houses renovated, as well as leasing them from the National Seashore. So there are three actual houses that are in the Outer Cape. There's one, the Hatch House. There is one called the Weidlinger House, and the other one is the Kugel Gibbs House, which are three houses that they now have that are leasing. And they use those houses for, they lease them to, the trust leases them to members of the trust during the summer. You can go to their website and find out about that.
Sure.
And then on the shoulder seasons, the houses are used for scholars or for artists in residence that are used to stay at these houses and do artistic things, architectural things, and all kinds of that.
So we can put these modern houses in context for folks, somewhat to the Frank Lloyd.
Right, yeah.
That era of architecture, something that looks a little out of place in the dunes, perhaps?
Yes, yes. Or not, you know, it's interesting when you say they're out of place, they're really not out of place because they really do blend in with the woods. And what I find at these houses, there are many more houses, are just out in the woods, like deep into the woods, on ponds and things. There are very few houses that are actually on the water. I mean, on the ocean or on the sound. I mean, yeah, on the bay.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the actual trust, so they have the lease to the houses from the National Seashore.
Correct.
And they're working on the renovation or have renovated some of these houses already.
Correct.
What goes into that? I mean, these houses have been vacant probably for some time,
They've
I would
done
imagine.
some amazing work on these houses to get them back to the way they were, but with modern functionality as well. Putting in more, double, triple paned windows, those kinds of things.
Yeah,
so,
to
and the
withstand
houses
the weather out there now.
are quite amazing. The Hatch House really is, that's really featured in the film that's going to be in the benefit, is a house that's really a seasonal house. And they really brought that back to the way it was.
So to give people context, I always do this.
Yeah.
Where are these houses?
They're about, they're in Truro and Wellfleet.
Truro and Wellfleet. Okay, excellent.
Yeah. And one of the reasons we wanted to have the benefit at the Orpheum is that we wanted to expand what the Cape Cod Modern House Trust has been doing to the Lower Cape. So that was one of the reasons we wanted to have this film shown there.
Let's talk about a little bit about the benefit. The film itself is built on narrow land, which the title is just perfect.
Right,
for,
exactly.
You know, that Truro always seems to like, it's only this big.
It's very little.
The End of Bauhaus Summers on Cape Cod. It's a film by Malachi Connolly.
Correct.
He's the producer and director of this.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the benefit in the film.
The film was done in 2013. It had kind of a limited release per se, but it basically talks about just what we've been talking about, these houses and the National Seashore and how they've worked on saving these houses. So it's going to be a really interesting film. I've seen it many times. I always see something new in it every time I see it. It's one of those kind of films. And also the nice part is that Malachi Connolly and Peter McMahon, the founding director of the Cape Cod Modern House Trust, will be there for discussion and answering questions after the film.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So that will be really interesting. We will have light refreshments.
Okay.
That will be, coffee will be provided by the Art of Roasting in Chatham. Yeah. And also we've been very lucky that the Open University of Wellfleet is sponsoring this event as well. Because the Open University has several courses that we are doing on modern architecture. So so we're kind of cooperating with them, and that's openuniversitywellfleet.org if anybody would like to see that as well.
Okay.
So.
And this is going to be September 12th at 9:30 a.m.
Somebody's like, 9:30, you know, we're going to go see a film? And it's like, because the Chatham Orpheum is a running business, and they have to show their movies the rest of the day. So in the morning is their free time that we can lease the theater. And they've been quite wonderful about letting us do this film there as
Tickets are available online at ccmht.org, which is great.
Which stands for Cape Cod Modern House Trust. It's just the initials.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And then with these houses, it's amazing that you know, there's a piece of Cape Cod history. This film really will, I guess, interest a lot of different types of people.
I think so. I think people that are interested in architecture, and I have to say, I came to Cape Cod Modern House Trust because I'm a Frank Lloyd Wright enthusiast. I moved to the Cape several years ago, and I thought, well, there's no Frank Lloyd Wright houses on the Cape. What's the next thing? And that's how I got involved in it. But to get back to your question, people are come at it from many different directions. In my classes that I've taught, I had like woodworkers and builders and plumbers and architects and all just people coming from different directions that are just interested in the architecture and also what the Cape Cod Modern House Trust is doing to save these houses. Preservationists as well are interested in this.
Now this organization is fairly new, 2007?
Yes, 7, yes, yep, so they're 8 years old.
You guys have done quite a bit of work in those 8 years.
Yeah, we have, and you know, it's amazing what's happened. So I hope people come down to the film. I think it'll be really a fun time. Peter McMahon wrote a book called Cape Cod Modern with his co-author, Christine Cipriani, but Peter will have his books on sale there, and he'll, of course, autograph them, and also some Cape Cod Modern House Trust tchotchkes, like I think hats and various other things will be on sale at this event as well.
That's great. So the event is a screening built on narrow land at the Chatham Orpheum, which is right on Main Street in Chatham. September 12th at 9:30 a.m. You can
get Saturday.
Saturday,
so
right?
There's no excuses. You have to.
There will be no traffic at that time. Sorry, we've been fighting.
Careful,
it. You can get your tickets at ccmht.org. Betsey, anything else you want to tell us a little bit about the organization or the film, or just that people should go?
People should go. I think this is a really rare opportunity that you have both the director and the producer, Malachi Connolly, and Peter McMahon there to answer questions, to have discussion about these houses and what the Cape Cod Modern House Trust is. By the way, Malachi Connolly, the director and the producer of the film, is also president of the Cape Cod Modern House Trust. Oh, so you've got, you know, these are our
so
really,
if you really
key
want to
people
know
to the trust.
About some of the history of these houses, the two guys know this, right?
And also, if you want to join the trust, you can join online, give them a donation, or we'll have it available that you can join at the movie theater as well. So that would be really lovely as we can expand that. So
what a neat event, Betsey.
Thank you.
And thank you for your work as a volunteer for this organization, because getting the word out about this, you know, lots of folks would be interested in it.
Yeah. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'm Paula Hersey, and this is What's Happening.